he uses quite loaded language, I think, at different points. Uh, Before we actually get the narrative of the illness story, he specifically calls this an exemplum. He calls Arria's actions an exemplum, and that makes you think again of historical texts and the way in which those texts are populated by examples that we're supposed to engage with, look back on, and learn from in our own lives. And quite often there are ways in which she is presented, or attention is drawn to what she's not doing at different points. So the lack of tears when she's in the room, and these quite expressive compounds as well. Prae clarum, for example, at one point, not just clarum, but prae clarum. So repetition as well. If you look at the way in which certain terms come up again, aeternitas, for example, sine primio aeternitas. So you get reinforcement by repetition at different stages. But also you get the direct speech as well, the very vivid snippets of direct speech. For example, in the second story about Scribonianus, there's quite a lot of direct speech which gives you a strong sense of Arria as a very determined sort of woman. She's addressing these soldiers who are taking her husband Paetus as a prisoner to Rome, and there's a certain degree of sort of stuff and nonsense about the way that she is expressing herself. She's very aware that her husband is a man of some status, and there may be some degree of sarcasm. Of course, you're going to give this man who's served as a consul a few little slaves, seriulos, aliquos, so the diminutive there. And she offers herself instead as a person who can perform those duties. So the way in which she herself is made to speak in this letter, I think, is quite expressive. And in particular, the snipe that she has at the wife of Scribonianus, who has outlived her husband, which Arria regards as being extremely ill-judged. Your duty as a woman is to basically die at the same time as your husband. And indeed, there's a degree of foreshadowing there in what she will eventually be very famous for doing.